Welcome back, guys, to Kerbal Space Explosion. So, we have designed and brought into orbit and docked 3 out of the 5 technobots. We have 2 left to design. Over here, we've got Strafe, who is like a space jet fighter guy. Over here, we've got Afterburner, who's like a motorcycle-y thing. Here, let me turn on some lights so we can see. Oh, that's a lot of lights. So many lights, the whole thing just gets overexposed. Over here, we've got Nose Cone, who is like a tanky drill thing. I don't know how that's scientific. They're not all they're all scientists, but they're based on various vehicles. So we got 2 left to do. One is Lightspeed, who's like a race car, futuristic sports car thing, and then we've got Scattershot, who is the leader. In terms of toys, is the biggest of the 5. He forms the torso of Computron, the Gestalt, and he's kind of like a spaceship. So originally, I was going to put Scattershot on the top here, and Lightspeed on the side. But I think because we're already starting to get some lag, you can see I can rotate the screen around all right. But once we're like trying to move through space and to orient the ship and stuff like that, it's going to get harder and harder. So I'm going to put Scattershot on the side here because he's going to be bigger. Lightspeed, the race car, can be kind of smaller. And Lightspeed is going to one of the smaller moons with the lighter gravity. So I think it'll work out better that way. We're going to try to make Scattershot about the same mass as this guy. And if he's a little bit heavier and the thing won't fly safe, it's not going to fly safe, I can tell you that. If it won't fly straight, we've got some extra docking clamps here. Docking ports, whatever. To add a little bit of extra weight to even it out. And I've got a lot of reaction wheels on this thing to try and help out. So, we'll see. So here is Jewel and its 5 moons. The one we're designing today is Scattershot, the spaceship, the center of the Gestalt in terms of the toys or what, but that doesn't really apply. We just have to make it look like his vehicle form, which is the spaceship. And he's going to Tylo, which is going to be the hardest one to land on and to come back from. Oh, by the way, people in the comments last time said that the flickering polygons and whatnot was from my graphics card dying or possibly my drivers being out of date. I really don't think it's my graphics card dying because I have a GTX 780 and it's only a few months old. My entire PC is only a few months old. And I've felt inside, it's very cool. The airflow is very good. I have a good case in terms of cooling. I don't think it's the graphics card. My drivers are up to date. And I tried deleting all 263 of the debris in the system, thinking maybe that it was just too much for the game to keep up with, and I'm still seeing the flickering. So maybe after this video, I will try uninstalling the game and reinstalling it, and just make sure to copy my save files over. See if that helps. We'll see. Anyway, here is Tylo, a big rocky blob. So it has no atmosphere, but it has 0.8 gravity, which is going to be tough. So we've got to get into orbit around it, which will take fuel. Then we've got to slow down to where we're falling into it. That'll take fuel. Then we've got to slow down all the way to land safely, which will take a lot of fuel at 0.8 Gs. Then we have to take off and get into orbit around it, and then get back to our rendezvous with, the super ship, Computron itself. That is all going to take a lot of fuel, and it's going to be hard to test for because there isn't an analog anywhere else in the system like this. There's nothing with this much gravity and no atmosphere. So we're just going to have to try to, as before, over-engineer and cross our fingers and hope for the best, more or less. So here is more or less the finished design, but we have to do some testing on it on the screen right now. Right now. Snap. I will put an image of the toy just so you can get a comparison idea. Turn some lights on too. This one was probably the easiest to make because we could make a traditional rocket ship. It doesn't have to fly through the atmosphere necessarily. It doesn't have to look like a car and have wheels. A little bit more straightforward to create. We have some more traditional asparagus staging and that kind of stuff. So here's how I'm going to test it. We have an atmosphere here, but I'm basically going to test it like this. If I can get up to about 50 or 60,000 meters and then come down in an arc and land safely, we'll consider that a successful test, and we'll explain as we're going. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are you ready, Kendrick Kerman? Yes, you are. Go! Okay, bring up the landing legs. We're going to get rid of this tank. Kersplow. So, we have an atmosphere here, and we will not have it on the moon. And this, hopefully, I'm hoping it cancels itself out. So here's the thing. Landing this thing safely will be easier than landing it on Tylo, because we can use the atmosphere to slow ourselves down. That's going to make it easier to land. However, taking off from this, on this planet with the atmosphere, that's harder than taking off on Tylo, because there's an atmosphere we have to fight against. So I'm hoping those two things cancel out. Plus the fact that... Let me just look at my speed. Okay, we're doing okay. Plus the fact that there is a higher gravity here than on Tylo. There's 1.0 here and 0.8 there. So if I can take off here and land... Whoa! We'll consider this more or less a success. I am actually going to fly this way. And this stage itself should last much longer than those earlier ones because the tanks are bigger. And we're also using the toroidal aerospike rockets, which is my first time using them. Good thing about these things is that they are efficient, lightweight. Let's start the turn already. We're going to go this way. They're efficient, they're lightweight, they're good in an atmosphere, which doesn't really make any difference because Tylo doesn't have an atmosphere. But maybe they'll help account for the fact that we have to take off in an atmosphere. I don't know. The main reason I wanted to use them is because they're small, and so the landing legs are easier to place. And because I just hadn't used them yet, and I'm trying to use something a little bit different for all the different ships. They've all got different engines, more or less. I think I repeated nuclear engines on a few of them. But besides that, they've all got different engines, different cockpits, different fuel tanks, all that kind of stuff. Okay, let's look at our arc here. I'm a little bit worried about coming down on just the one fuel tank. Because basically what's going to happen, we're going to be in kind of the opposite situation. When we come down on Tylo, we should have most of our fuel tanks coming down, and then we'll lose them taking off. So it's going to be a little bit backwards. Let me get, let's see, we're up to 25,000. And because there's no... Let's just get rid of these tanks, I guess, because we're about to lose them anyway. Alright, and let's just cut the fuel. Because there is no atmosphere on Tylo, what that means is we can get into as low of an orbit as we want, as long as we're not worried about running into mountains or whatever. We don't have to worry about, you know, the usual getting into a 70 kilometer plus orbit like on Kerbal. All right. So I think that ship works well enough, and I have tested this. This guy can easily get into orbit around Kerbal. So if we can land this guy with it, and if I screw it up, then that's okay. But as long as it seems like it's plausible, I'm not going to do it like 10 times to find the perfect timing for to when to start firing the engines. And landing it should be easier because we can use the atmosphere to slow ourselves down. Like, we're already decelerating quite a bit, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here waiting for things to happen. All I'm going to do is update our orientation as our retrograde vector continues to slide towards the vertical. Oh, I sound like such a scientist when I say these words. All right, we're already down to 400. We're coming down in the mountains though, so who knows how high. Actually, let's go ahead and start bleeding off that speed. We have a lot of fuel. And look how fast in the atmosphere that's going to happen. I'm going to lower the legs. And even with only one set of engines, I think we can do it. On Tylo, we won't have the atmosphere to slow us down, but we will have more. We'll probably have all 5 of the toroidal aerospike engines. We may only have 3 of them, but I think if we have 3, that'll be plenty. And then we'll have more fuel to take off with, obviously. Okay, so now we're more or less straight up and down. And we're still decelerating. I think we should be decelerating more, though. I don't think I've ever landed like this on Kerbal before. I think I've always used parachutes. So this may even be kind of like a first here. Alright, we're slowing down nicely. The terrain is not flat here. Okay, we need to... Okay, we're getting close now. Getting close. No, no, no. Don't turn sideways here. Oh gosh, that was bad. Why'd I do that? Cannot cut the engines. Oh, look at that. Did it! And it's going to crash over. But that's okay. We successfully slowed down enough to land. Even though it tipped over, that's okay. And we still have a decent amount of fuel. So I'm going to say that is a successful test. So let's skip forward. Let's send this thing into orbit to rendezvous with Computron. All right, here we go. Another fairly simple lifter with just 3 of these LV Kerbal KR2L advanced engines. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! So I had to, this is a little bit awkward here. The clamps here, the docking ports, had to be added in a sort of a atypical way because I learned for the first time I'm using these toroidal aerospike rockets, I learned that you can't put decouplers on the bottom of them. It won't let you do that for whatever reason. So you can't put decouplers to continue your ship downwards, and I had to put these radial decouplers on vertically and then add some stuff to that. And then I had to do kind of a similar thing because we've got to get rid of anything attached to here so we have room to dock here. Okay, let me pay attention to what I'm actually doing though. Also had to put an additional decoupler here because I had to prevent the fuel from these tanks up here from going down to these tanks down here. Had a problem with that early on because these radial decouplers do not prevent fuel flow like the vertical ones do. And I'm still getting the polygon flickering. I'm not sure exactly what's causing that. I'm going to attempt uninstalling and let's start to turn. I'm not paying attention. Let's start. I'm going to uninstall and reinstall Kerbal Space Program, see if that causes it or fixes it. Okay. I waited a little bit too long to do that, but that's all right. I should have some extra fuel. There's Computron. It's a little bit ahead of us, actually. I've been trying to figure out the exact right timing, and I've never quite hit it just right. So if it gets ahead of us, that means we'll have to go into a slightly higher orbit, which shouldn't be any big deal. This flickering thing only started recently when I started designing these things. And my first thought was that I had so many ships in orbit and I had so many large part counts that the game was just freaking out. And it's the only game that's really messing up. No other game I play really is having these issues. So I'm not sure. And I haven't heard of anyone else having those issues. A few people in the comments said they did have the issue. So it's not just me, but I really don't think it's my graphics card dying. That would be very strange because my graphics card is quite new. And yes, it did get ahead of us. Oh no, it got ahead of us, so we're going to go into a lower orbit and catch up to it. Never mind. Yeah, okay, it's business as usual. So let's turn all the way over here and get up to about 72,000 meters. These things are so easy to fly. They provide a ridiculous amount of power. 70, 71, 72. All right, lovely. That's probably good. Yeah, that's going to drop a little bit, but not a whole lot. We're already up out of the atmosphere, or, you know, the majority of it. This flickering of the polygons is driving me nuts. It's really driving me nuts. We need to get a fix for that. Yeah, oh, wow, that's really bad. That is really bad. Okay, we're 1 minute out. And it's not, our apoapsis isn't changing that much, so let's go ahead and dial in the maneuver. 72, 73. That'll do. That'll do, pig. That's a 30-second burn. Should have enough fuel for that, and then some left over. This, look at all these struts on here, just in random spots. Well, it's not random, but I really had to reinforce the thing to try to keep it from breaking. I'm going to have to be real careful when I fly to Jewel with all these guys. Each one of these ships has a part count of somewhere between 100 to 140 parts. Okay, here we go. I almost was too occupied talking to notice that we were at our window for scheduled departure. Okay, this guy's about to be out. Yeah, we should have plenty of fuel. Should be no problem. There's that guy out, and this guy will have plenty of fuel left over when we're done. At least I hope so. All we need really is a little bit to help us. Okay, there we go. Kill that. What did we do? 73. 68. Let's just get that above 75. 71. Okay, that's good enough. 76, 71. Okay, that's good enough. And we can continue to figure that out as we get closer to this guy. So, Computron set as target. We're currently having, let's see, our next intersection will be 151 meters, or kilometers, 151 kilometers. And that'll go down to 146. Basically what I'm going to do, to make this a little simpler, let's turn off the SAS. We don't need it right now. Basically what I'm going to do is go around enough times till this gets nice and close, and then we'll start burning towards our target. When we get to our closest intersection, we'll kill off the relative velocity by burning retrograde in the targeting mode. Right there. So let's see, that went down. It looks like it's dropping 116 kilometers. It's dropping about 30 kilometers each time. All right, I'll see you once we get a little bit closer for docking. All right, we're getting fairly close. Let's see, I need to go this way, down a bit. We're a little too high. Then I need to rotate a little bit. The other way. There we go, getting very close. Ooh, okay, we went a little bit too far that way. Reverse! Quickly! Quickly! Reverse! Okay, we need to go forward a bit, because we're coming towards it too close. Okay, I think I salvaged it. Let's go this way again. This is why I put a lot of monopropellant on my ships. For things like this. Let's rotate a bit. That should help. And then let's just oh gosh. No, no, no. No, no! Go forward! Okay, now halt and go this way. No, no, not that way. This way! Oh, wow, we're really drifting off now. We're going too far down is the problem. I sort of came into this approach diagonally a bit, because I had to fly around the thing. I approached it from the other side. I had to fly past it and then stop and come down. Normally, I would try to basically have zero relative velocity, or, you know, with the thing, and then, let me check this one. Okay, let's start going back towards it. I would try to have zero relative velocity and then line up real nice and then move in and basically only moving in one direction at a time. Now we're going too high. See this? See what's happening? It's correcting too much. Go back down. Go back down! Oh gosh, and we've rotated a bit. Let's rotate again. And yeah, we definitely went too high. Oh, okay. Go down. Go down. Go down. I just want you to auto-connect. Let's rotate a bit, see if we can get that to connect. We're pretty close now. Oh, yes, we're quite close. It should start. There it is. Auto sequence engaged. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1.25, 1, 0. Yes. There we go. Wow, look at that. Oh, that might be an issue. That might make the thing... I didn't realize it was going to stick out that far. Look at that. Huh. We may have to do some testing before we take off for Joule. And I may have to install some counterweights here. Just to make sure it flies straight. Before I flew him up here, and before we connected the motorcycle afterburner, I did check to see that it flew straight, and it did. So, we're good with these two. These two, we may have to do some testing. But that is 4 out of 5 designed and connected to the interplanetary stage. Next time, we've got one left. Lightspeed, the futuristic... I guess it's a sports car. It's not really a race car. It's a sports car. Or whatever. But we'll do that next time. And then we'll get ready to depart for Joule. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Take it easy. Have a good day. Bye-bye.